Hey guys, what's up? So this is Kyle with Preparedness Farm. Today I want to share with you guys a little story about my winter storm situation that happened a few weeks ago. Sparked my mind. I started thinking about all these gaps that I had in my life and in my emergency preparedness, and I wanted to share it with you. First things first, a few weeks back we had a massive amount of snow that was just dumping on us. I decided to stay home from work, try to work from home, and what I noticed, I stayed home from work. Actually, I tried to make it. I like went out on the road. It was crazy stupid. So I turned around, came back home, and what I noticed was that by the time I got back home, my power had gone out. It was gone. It was out. It was like no longer on. And this was cool for the first 15 minutes. But after that, and my wife's up and my kids started getting up, and we all stayed home from school. School was canceled. And we started thinking to ourselves as we were scraping the driveway and talking to the neighbors outside. We all were shoveling and stuff like that. And we started thinking about how nice it would be if we had a wood-burning stove to where we could like heat our house, because who knew when the power would come back on? Like totally out of our control. We had no idea when it would come back on, and we all started talking about it, and it was so apparent. Like we had no way to heat our house because the power powers the furnace fan, and even though it's a gas furnace, it won't circulate the air around the house, and it won't turn on if there's no power. And we figured that we could last in our house without any heat for maybe a few days. But after that, it was just like game over. Like you can't do it. We're lucky that we have a gas fireplace, but that's not going to do the trick either. That kind of heat, you know, it would heat our front room, but that's about it. It wouldn't heat very much more than that. So we realized that we had this gap in our emergency preparedness, so we really started thinking about it. And we're going to be getting a wood-burning stove here in a little bit. But for all those who are wondering what to do in a snowstorm, how to prepare for it, from our experience, there's a short list of things that you want to make sure that you have in your emergency supply list for a winter storm, such as the one that we had just a few weeks back. The first thing that you want to make sure that you have is food. You have to have food. This includes baby food, baby formula. Yeah, your power could come back on in a few days or a few weeks in some certain cases, but you want to make sure that you have food. Something that doesn't have to be in the refrigerator, can kind of is shelf stable, that sort of thing. You also want to make sure that you have a can opener that's not electric. A manual old can opener so that you guys can open cans of food or whatever, right? The second thing is you want to make sure that you have a first aid kit. If something happens, you slip on the ice, you cut yourself or whatever, the likelihood that emergency responders are going to be able to come to your house to help you out is not very good. So you want to make sure that you have first aid supplies with you in your home or in your car so that you guys can take care of yourself essentially. Also with that, you want to make sure you have prescription medication. You're not going to be able to make it to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy is probably going to be out of this stuff. Someone's probably not going to be working at the pharmacy. There's so many problems that can come with that you want to make sure that you also have your prescription meds with you too in a case of emergency. Another thing that you want to make sure that you have is water storage. Water is critical. You're going to need water to sanitize. You're going to need water to hydrate yourself. In some cases, you'll need water to cook. But water is so important. You need to make sure that you have at least half a gallon per person per day just for consumption. And then you want to make sure that you have another half gallon per person per day for brushing your teeth and hygiene and sanitation, all that kind of stuff. So make sure that you have water. Okay, the next thing is heat. Like I said, if your power goes out, there's no way to heat your house, make sure that you have some sort of backup heat. Blankets are good, fireplaces are good, wood burning stoves are good. Make sure you have fuel with it too. You're gonna want heat. That is something that's gonna keep you warm, it's gonna keep you dry, it's gonna make life so much better if you have heat. That's what I've learned and with my family. Also, you're gonna wanna have games, some sort of entertainment. I mean, Netflix is not gonna be on if the power's out. Internet's not gonna be on if the power's out. All these things we depend on for our entertainment won't work. So you will want to most likely have board games, card games, just some fun old school stuff that your kids can play with if you have kids, or you know, stuff that can keep you entertained too. And then the last thing I would say that you need to make sure that is on your list for an emergency such as a winter storm are flashlights. Flashlights and extra batteries. You're gonna want to light. You're gonna want candles. You're gonna want. Essentially, you just need some way to light space in which you're trying to do something if it's dark out. And especially during a winter storm, you're not going to have as much light because the days are shorter. So light is important. But yeah, these are a few of the things that we thought of. I'd love to know some of the things that you guys have thought of with your experience. Leave comments below, let me know, because I'm always looking for ways to help prepare my family for things like this. So thanks for watching. This is Kyle with Bring Back the Farm, and I hope you guys stay a little bit more prepared during the next winter storms that come into your life. So thanks for watching.